Hey, I'm Melanie from Female Fitness Systems, and today we're talking about how to improve your metabolism after 40. This video was actually inspired by a message that I got from a client recently. So what I wanted to do to set the context for us is read her message to you. So she asked, once I hit my 40s, it felt like everything got harder. I've got extra weight, and this stomach, where did that come from? I don't know, maybe it's inevitable because I'm getting older, but is there anything I can do about it? I don't need to have my 20-something body. I just want to feel comfortable again. And I know this is something that a lot of you are wondering about as well. Is middle-age weight gain inevitable? Are you naturally going to have a sluggish metabolism and have to eat less as you get older? Well, the good news is not necessarily so. There's a lot you can do about it, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Before we get started, I wanted to remind you, if you like over 40 content, to subscribe to my channel so that you catch future videos from me. One other thing I wanted to mention before we jump into it is that if you don't know me already, you should know that I'm a very simple and practical person. Everything we're going to talk about today is totally within your grasp. It is completely possible for you to have a better metabolism. We're not going to talk about anything gimmicky. These are very real, practical solutions that you can implement in your life. So let's get into the first thing I would do if I was trying to improve my metabolism after 40, and that is build more muscle. So why is muscle so important to metabolism? Well, let's step back a little bit more and talk about why your metabolism declines as you get older to help you understand. So the first thing you need to know is that as you get older, your basal metabolic rate naturally declines. This is also called your BMR, and it refers to the amount of calories that you burn from natural processes, things like breathing, circulation, and digestion. And as you get older, unfortunately, this goes down. The other thing that you need to know is that as you get older, you also naturally lose muscle. And this is really important because muscle plays a key role in the amount of calories that you burn. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn. So as you get older, your muscle to fat mass ratio really matters, especially if you want to improve your metabolism. And unfortunately, decade by decade, starting from about our 30s, we naturally lose muscle unless we're doing something about it. So if you want to have a better metabolism after 40, then you need to make sure that you're training weights and you're doing everything possible to counteract that natural loss of muscle. And it's not just a matter of going into the gym and doing group fitness classes or HIIT classes or just sort of freestyling with the weights. You need a really proper training program that has you training weights 3 to 5 times a week, really focused on building muscle. And you don't have to become a big, bulky muscle person, but you need to have a little bit more muscle than average if you want to have a better metabolism than average. So if you don't have a good training program, pop over to my website, check my online training programs out. I have all levels from beginner all the way through to advanced, and I can really help you with all of this. I'll link to my programs in the description of this video. You can message me there if you have any questions. So that would be the first thing you should focus on if you want to have a better metabolism after 40, building more muscle. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is something called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT for short. And this refers to the calories that you burn from all activities throughout your day that aren't exercise. So this would include things like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. It would include having a standing desk if you work at a computer. It would include housework. All of these things are called NEAT, and they make up a significant part of your metabolism. And in fact, they can be the reason that somebody appears to have a much better metabolism than you. It may just be that that person is moving more than you throughout the day, so they're burning more calories. Now, the really cool thing about NEAT is that there is a lot you can do about it. One of the first things that I recommend to my clients is that they get a step tracker and they make sure that they're hitting that 10,000 step target every day. That can make a big difference to the amount of calories you burn and a weight loss if that's your goal. So that would be one of the first things I would recommend. And then I would suggest finding ways that you can incorporate more NEAT into your day. For example, with myself, I deliberately do this. I make sure that I get up from the computer every hour or so if I'm having a long day of working on the computer. And I'll just do a quick task like tidy up the kitchen or throw in some laundry and just make sure I move around a little bit. In the evenings after dinner, I think that's a great time to be thinking about incorporating NEAT, because you've just taken in a lot of calories, and rather than just blobbing on the couch or going to bed, it can help to move around and burn a little bit of those calories off. One of the things I'll often do after a really big dinner is vacuum the house. And I have a very active little cat, so I make sure that I chase him around and play with him a lot, which also helps to burn those calories that I've had with my dinner meal. And you probably know all of this. You've heard the importance of moving more, but if you want to have a better metabolism after 40, this is something that I would start incorporating more in your day, in your thinking. How can you get more NEAT in your day? And then the third thing I wanted to talk about, which I think is particularly relevant to us as ladies, is the importance of not always being in a caloric restriction, so not always being on a diet. The more somebody's dieted in their lifetime, the more they've been in that cycle of gaining and losing weight, the more likely they are to say that they have a sluggish metabolism, and the more likely they are to feel stuck. The reason for this is that dieting has a lot of negative impacts on your metabolism. Your body does something called metabolic adaptation, which means it actually slows down the amount of calories you burn when you're on a diet. It slows down the amount of calories you burn from exercise. Your BMR slows down, so that basal metabolic rate, all the calories you burn from your basic function, that drops, and your body just goes into survival mode. It senses a threat when you're on a diet. And that can be the difference between somebody having a good metabolism and a not so good metabolism. I've seen this so much in my own work. If I have somebody who's come in who has been dieting a lot in their life, they usually have to be on a lower amount of calories to get weight loss happening than somebody who hasn't always been dieting. And so that's really important. If you're somebody who keeps going on diets and regaining the weight, you really need to get out of this cycle. You need to find something that's more balanced and sustainable for yourself, something that you can do in the long run, because otherwise you're always going to feel like this is a struggle. And you might be thinking that it's age, but in reality, it's just the fact that you've had these habits and you really need to change them. So those are my tips for having a better metabolism after 40. As I said, everything here is completely within your grasp. It's completely possible to have an above average body and metabolism after 40. If you need proof of it, pop over to my website, femalefitnesssystems.com. Have a look at all of the fantastic ladies there that have transformed their bodies. They aren't any different than you. They've just figured out the right things to do, and they've been doing them. So this is totally possible for you as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.